Welcome to my channel. Unfortunately, I'm not going to do any reactions today because I don't have time. It's very late and my grandkids just left the house like 10-15 minutes ago. Today is my wife's birthday. She turned 75 today. And so we went out to celebrate, and then we came home and had cake and ice cream, and they just now left, and so I just don't have time to do reactions. But I do have something on my mind that I want to talk to you about, and this is in relation to the reaction that I did the other day, Attack on Titan. I was completely unfamiliar with this show before I did my reaction, so I was going into it completely cold. And I've been, I won't say attacked, but disputed in the comments by a number of people, and I think there may have been some misunderstanding about the point that I was making. So what I want to do is I want to watch this section where I commented, and then I'm going to talk about what I was saying and try to communicate to you the message that I was trying to get across to you. Okay? So what we're going to do now is I've got the subtitles turned on. Oh, by the way, thank you for coming. How could I forget that? Thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for the support. I'm almost at 33,000 now. It's like it's growing exponentially. I can't explain it, but man, do I thank you for it. I really do. So we're going to watch just a little bit of my reaction, well, probably most of it, and then I want to talk about it because I want to make sure you understand what my thoughts were on this. Okay, what do I think of that? Well, for one thing, I'm struck by, well, this was metal. I mean, let's face it, this was metal. But I'm struck by the number of references to things that are spiritual. Angels and devils, for example, sprinkled throughout. And the so many thoughts. The way that it communicates constant battle, constantly fighting for freedom, and never really reaching it. Constantly having to engage in another battle and another fight another monster. I wonder sometimes when when young impressionable people watch this kind of stuff, what impact it has on their minds. Because as I've often said, this is one of my favorite expressions. You can't get in a pigsty without getting some on you. You can't get into violence and war and battle and swords and arrows and all this stuff without it affecting the way that you think. Now, I want to stop here for a minute. So we're gonna come back to it, but I do need to comment right at this point. I never once said that watching these videos or getting involved in violent games or whatever the case may be is going to make you violent. I never said that. Some of you thought I did. You assumed that I was saying that, but that was not my point at all. There were two things that I said in this first part that I wanted to point out. The first thing was that I noticed there was a lot of spiritual beings involved in this series. angels and devils. Okay? The reason for that is because they exist. A lot of people don't think they do. A lot of people try to deny the reality that spirits do exist, but they do. And the reason why they keep coming up in games and in series like this is because they do exist and they influence the world. The second thing that I wanted to point out was that I said, I wonder how this affects their minds. I never said I wonder if it makes them violent. I don't wonder that. A person who is violent is going to be violent whether they watch games or don't watch games, participate in role playing or don't participate. I mean, it has nothing to do with that. It's their nature. Okay? But as I pointed out with my favorite expression, which is that you can't get in a pigsty without getting some on you, is I've done that. When I was a young man, I worked for a feed mill in Iowa, and I went into pigsties to fill the feeders. And I can tell you from personal experience that when you go in a pigsty, which, to be blunt, is a mixture of mud and poop, that smell doesn't come off of you. You can take a shower and you still smell of it. It takes days for it to go away. And the whole point of that metaphor is that when you immerse your mind in something, whatever that something is, doesn't matter. Whatever it is you immerse your mind in, that's what your mind is going to be thinking about. That's what's going to influence your actions. And by that, what I mean is, if you're constantly involved in something that is violent and angry, then you, in your head, are going to be violent and angry. It may never come out in your actions, but it will influence your thinking, the way you view the world. Okay? It will influence how you see others, and you'll tend to think of them in a negative light. Now, you might not want to admit that, but that's the truth. Whatever you surround yourself with in your life, whatever your primary focus is in your life, that's what will be manifested in your being, in the way that you behave. You're less kind. You're less joyful. You're less happy. You're less pleasant to be around. Or you're more, depending on what you focus on. Now, a lot of people come to my channel and they say, you're just such a sweet guy. I want to hug you. You're so lovely. There's a reason for that, because I surround myself with lovely things all the time. I surround myself with the love of God, with His joy and with His mercy and with His peace. And that's why I am the way I am. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with what influences are going into my head that then come out in my life. Okay? It has nothing to do with actions. It has to do with attitude. It has to do with behavior. It has to do with how you present yourself to the world, what kind of person you are. Okay? So let's watch a little bit more of this, and then I want to talk some more. I hope you find this valuable, by the way. You just can't. You know, it's funny. I see these arguments all the time about how, like video games can't possibly have any effect on someone's mind. They're just games, is what they say. But yet, companies spend millions of dollars to advertise on TV because they know that it will get you to buy their products. Well, if a short ad on TV will affect your mind to the point where you'll go out and buy a product, how much would constant immersion in violent games affect your thinking? And the worst part of it is, to me, that you see these heroes in the games who never, well, they seldom ever get hurt. They're constantly being victorious, and that's not real life. The bad guys have a say, and often it hurts. I just wonder the impact of this on people's minds. I really do. It's not something that I would immerse myself in. I'll put it like that. I want to think positive thoughts. I want to think happiness and joy. I want to think about purity and love, and not all the evil that we're surrounded with. I'm aware of it, but I don't want to immerse myself in it. Just my thoughts. Now, once again, I want to point out, not once in my entire reaction to that series of videos or openings of the Titan sections did I ever say that immersing yourself in the show or in games or anything like that would cause you to be violent. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it affects the way you think and the way you see the world. The best way I know to describe it is you are what you eat. If you're eating mentally negativity and violence and anger and hatred and discord and all those types of things, then that's what you will manifest in your life. You will be less happy. You will be less content. You will be more anxious. You will be more angry. You will be less accommodating of other people. That's how the mind works, you see. It's just like the pigsty. If you get in that pigsty, that stink is going to get on you, and it doesn't come off immediately. It takes work to get it off. You have to shower for several days to get it out of your system and to get the stink gone completely. Trust me, I know. I've been in the pigsties. It's horrible. It's horrible. And if you would think about what you feed your head, the way you think about that, or maybe the way you think about what you feed your body, then perhaps you'd think twice about how much time you spend doing those sorts of things. I'm not asking you to stop. I'm not asking you to quit playing games. If you enjoy the games, you should enjoy the games. I'm just asking you to think about how that affects your thinking and your attitude towards the world and your attitude towards your loved ones and the attitude towards everything that's involved in your life, all the interactions that you have at work, at play, everywhere. You cannot constantly feed your mind with negativity without becoming negative yourself. You cannot constantly feed your mind with darkness without becoming dark yourself. And depending on your personality, it can lead to depression. It can even lead to suicide. Not the games now, don't get me wrong. I'm saying the mental attitude, the way you feed your brain affects you personally in your life. It can even affect your health. And by the same token, if you feed your mind with positive thoughts and you feed your mind with pleasant things and joyful things, then your life will become more joyful and more pleasant, and you'll become easier to live with and easier to be around. You'll be more thoughtful of other people. How do I want to put this? It's a It's a result of the seeds that you're planting. You grow the crop that comes from the seeds you plant. If you seed plants of negativity, you sow plants of negativity. If you sow plants of violence, if you sow plants of anger, if you sow plants of hatred in your brain, the crop that will come up will be that. Just like when you plant a seed of corn in the ground, what you get is corn. Okay? If you sow goodness and graciousness and love and mercy and peace, then guess what the crop is that you will grow and that you will be reaping. That was my point. I hope I've made this more clear now. I probably beat the thing to death, but I just felt the need to say something because I just felt like for some of you, you misunderstood my point entirely. You got defensive and you said, hey, wait a minute. No, these games don't make me violent. Well, I never said they did. You see? What I said was they make you think differently than if you weren't watching them. Okay? You are what you feed your brain. You become what you feed your brain. If you plant the seeds of negativity, of darkness, of hatred, of all the negative emotions that, by the way, come directly from Satan himself, not from man. It's not like you are the one who originates these thoughts. They originate with Satan. And when he gets you to thinking that way, when he gets you to begin to feed on that and to sow that in your brain, the crop is inevitable. And he doesn't have to do anything else. He's already done his work. Just like when you plant the seeds of God's word and you plant God's love and you plant God's mercy and grace and peace, that's what comes out when you grow the crop, when you sow it. Okay? So, my prayer for you is that you will begin to realize that what you feed your brain is what you become. And that maybe you should reconsider what you're feeding your brain. Maybe you should think about planning a time each day when you feed your brain some positive thoughts, when you feed your brain some understanding thoughts, when you feed your brain some joyful thoughts, when you feed your brain some empathetic thoughts, when you feed your brain concern for other thoughts. Okay? That's how I got to be who I am. That's, I don't want to brag. I just don't like it at all. Okay? But I have to point out to you that the reason why you like me so much and the reason why you think I'm such a wonderful person has nothing to do with me. It has to do with what I have eaten in my head for years and years and years and years and years. Okay? I am what I've eaten, and so are you. And so maybe you should think about what you're eating in your head, what food you're feeding to your brain. That was my point. I hope that I've made sense to it, and I pray that God will help you to understand and get the message that I'm trying to give to you, because it will make a world of difference to you and to every single person that you love. This is the Vietnam Era Vet, out.